All right, welcome everybody. We are live. Let us know if the audio and video quality is okay. I did a quick test beforehand, just as a recording, and it sounded like it was all good. So we now have the ability to layer up some background music and all that kind of stuff. I've got the desktop ready to share, all that kind of thing. So welcome everybody. Thanks again for being a subscriber. If you're subscribed, and if you're not, welcome if you choose to. I'll timestamp this after the fact as well. This will just be a kind of like random Q&A as per always. And yeah, we'll get into some of the comments here already. Thanks for joining in, everybody. I appreciate it. And let's just kill that background music. I don't know how loud it is. I can't hear it. All right. We got Jam Pro Sound from Boise, Idaho. I think that is. Welcome. Got BC Rich here already. Welcome, mate. Eddie, thanks for being a channel member, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your support and comments. All right. We've got Hobo Roadie here. Awesome name. What kind of amp's that? It looks like it says Diaz on there. Very cool. Looks fine. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Jams Pro, awesome. Thank you. We've got Jason McDougall here. Welcome, mate. Awesome stuff. If anyone has any questions or comments, or you want to see some sort of a reaction video coming up and breakdown video, I think what I'm going to do coming up with those too, I just don't want to do reaction videos. As you probably saw, they're kind of like breakdowns. I think the next few will be like some really great guitar jams, and then we might do like a breakdown thing, because it'll be stuff that I've seen. So yeah, we might do sort of turn it into a little bit more of a lesson rather than just sort of like, you know, the current state of them. So stay tuned. I always get a lot of people asking me for lessons, and I think I don't just want to sit in a room and teach licks. I'd rather hear something cool, work it out, and show you kind of how it works, if I can work it out, that is, because I can't work out everything, but that's kind of the plan here. All right, we got Kimball. Welcome, mate. Thanks for all the support. Ivan's here as well. Awesome stuff. Wednesday morning. It is, yeah. Tuesday in the US. That's absolutely, we're a half a day ahead, or 3/4 of a day ahead here, or something like that. I used the Fender Mustang floor, and I downloaded your PDF files. Thank you. Oh, that's cool, man. Awesome stuff. I never got to test the floor one. I always wanted to, and unfortunately, it wasn't around for long. I don't know what happened to it. I would have loved to have tried one of those. We got I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Jawan? Is that how you say it, man? From North Carolina. Awesome stuff. Probably said a lot cooler than the way I say it. We got Grandpa Joe. Awesome stuff, guys. This is awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. We've got heaps of folks here already. We've got David here as well. He just says, been a minute. I just bought me a 2 Notes Opus and a 1981 Greco EC500. Awesome stuff, man. The Greco guitars are fantastic. I mean, you can't go too far wrong with the made in Japan guitars. I'm still loving my Tokai. I've not found another guitar to replace it with all these years later. So well done, man. The Greco stuff's fantastic. Jamal, there he is. Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining in. It's from Houston, Texas. I get to meet Jamal hopefully in maybe next year if all goes well. If we make it to Texas, we'll see how we go. We've got Mark's Gas Station here as well. Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining in. Thanks, everybody, for being a subscriber and channel member too. I've got this interface I'm using doesn't show me the icons for channel members, so I know some guys are on Patreon and stuff, which it doesn't show, but yeah, I apologize if I miss any members here. I might actually load the chat up outside of this so I can see. But anyway, it's all good. Welcome, everybody. If anyone's got any questions, guitar related or music related, or you just want to chat about anything, let us know. All right. Where'd you get that sweet hooded sweatshirt jumper from? I see it in a lot of your videos. You know what? I buy multiples of the same thing. When I find something I like, I've actually got 4 of these. So I got it from Big W here in Australia. It was like $29 or something like that. It wasn't much. I ended up buying 2, and then I was like 2 weeks later, I'm just gonna go back and buy 2 more. They're great. So I've got the grey ones and like a I don't know what color it is. It's sort of like a light brown or a tan colored one. These fit, so it's rare that I find something that really sort of fits well. And these are great. They're comfortable and yeah, not sponsored by Big W. But yeah, they're probably on sale now. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I got them, I think I bought them probably 3 months ago now. So yeah, I've had them for a little while. But yeah, I've got multiples of these. Everyone says, why do you wear the same thing all the time? I'm like, I do get changed. I've just got... It's same with the blue hoodie. I used to wear a blue zip-up hoodie. I got like 3 of those as well. They were like $20. All right, Russell. Welcome, mate. How you doing? Thanks for joining in. Sassy Cat says 40 months of membership. Good morning, Shane. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Oh yeah, it does have a little thing on screen here. I didn't notice that on the other one. But anyway, thank you, mate. Any thoughts on the new Seymour Duncan hot chicken pickups? I actually would love to try some new pickups. I was thinking about maybe putting a project guitar together and kind of using it for pickup swaps and all that kind of stuff. The problem with pickups is you kind of need to hear them against something you already know. If you're just listening to a pickup video, you know, if the dude's playing through a great amp or you don't really know what's going on. There's no basis for comparison. So I like their pickups. I think Seymour Duncan make great stuff. I was actually on their website last night looking at their vintage rail ones. My friend Brian's got some in his guitar. They're a bit like the Joe Barden pickups. So they got the rail that goes halfway on one side and halfway on the other side to give you a more kind of like single coil sound, but it because of the way it's designed, it's still noiseless. And I was like, that could be cool. Yeah, there's plenty of great pickups out there. I need to I'd love to try some of their pickups, but I always feel like it's best to hear them against a known. Otherwise, pickup demos all sound good. I have a hard time sort of working them out, but yeah, I need to look into those at some point. All right. Daniel says, happy Tuesday here, everybody. Hey, everyone. Sorry. All right. Still in bed at 6 a.m. there? Far out, mate. Well, you're a trooper. You're up earlier than I am. Welcome back, mate. Hope you're doing well. We've got DJ Farnes from Seattle. Very cool. I've never been to Seattle before. Home of many great bands over the years. Have you ever played the old Agile PS 900 PRS style guitar? Recall anything good or bad about it? Let me just check that one, mate. I'm not too sure. Agile. I don't think I've played this one, but I'll just... where's the comment? Oh, it's on screen. That makes it easy. Let's have a look. All right, can I share this? Boom. Okay, no, I haven't tried that before. It looks good. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like a lot of these guitars are probably pretty similar to the SE line or the Harley Bentons or whatever. Yeah, I always I try to recommend people play guitars before they buy them, but if you're trying to save a few bucks and you want to take a chance on it, maybe it's not too bad. I know John, who's in the chat a lot, he has, I think he's played, or he might actually own one of them. I'm not too sure. We'll see if he shows up. He might be working, but yeah, we'll find out if he joins up in. But I don't think so. I don't think I've tried one. What's my desert island rig? If I had to pick an amp to take with me somewhere, and if I had the ability to play it right now, I'm taking the PV Classic 50. That thing is so good. I've used it all week for pedal. I'm redoing a lot of my old videos again, like just doing them sort of like efficiently now, like the old days where there wasn't a big jam track and all that, just like some isolated tones. And I've been using the PV Classic 50 410s clean channel with my pedals, and the ones that I borrowed from Boss and Mad Professor and a whole bunch of brands. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to use, and it records so well. So I would say, I would probably take that. If I had to lift it and move it around, I'd probably take, it'd be either, yeah, I would say I would take the Classic 50. I reckon that's probably the amp of choice. If I had to take a guitar, it's probably going to be my Kiesel with the 24 frets, the sort of semi-hollow body one. I love that guitar. It's easily my best guitar. Or my 52 reissue. Depends on the day. But yeah, I really like the I really like that amp. It's like just the cleans are unbelievable. It really is good. Ever played a Carvin V3? I think that's supposed to be. Let me try it. Carvin V3. I played a few of their amps back in the day. Let me just have a look. I played one of their tweed ones. What's this one? No, I haven't tried that one, mate. So yeah, I've played a few of their tweed amps, which were like kind of like a Blues Deluxe size, and I got to use them at a jam night actually, and it was pretty good. I think that was a 2-channel sort of. It was basically a Blues Deluxe, but a little bit smaller, or even a PV Classic 30, that kind of thing. They had that kind of vibe going on. But yeah, I haven't tried that, mate. It looks like a pretty high gain, or it looks like a can-do high gain. It looks like a good. Actually, I can probably show this with everybody. It looks, there it is. That one I have not tried before. But yeah, it looks like it's got a lot of controls, and that's one of the things I don't mind guitar amps that are complex if it's easy to get a sound, but just be careful with an amp with 25 different controls on the front. It can sometimes mean that it doesn't always give you a good sound to start with. That's what I've found over the years. But I could be completely wrong too. I'm usually wrong. All right, we've got guitars this week. BC Rich, Korean-made Mockingbird, ST, and a First Act Garage Master VW promotional guitar in the mid-2000s. If you bought a Volkswagen, they have you a guitar. Okay, cool. I don't know much about that. I'll have to look into that. Very cool. Thanks for the update. We got Coots here from Montreal. Awesome stuff. Man, it was cold this morning here. It got to 2 degrees Celsius, so just above freezing for those with the Fahrenheit scale. And I was thinking to myself, imagine if I lived in Canada, it would be brutal, or even the northern parts of the US. It just, yeah, 2 degrees. I mean, it's sunny, right? Like, you see, even behind my blind here, that the sun's pouring in. But, yeah, I got outside because I had to get some caffeine. And I was like, my God, it's pretty cold outside today. And I found out it's 2 degrees. So, yeah, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. I like your guitar there. Looks like the EVH style Strat. Very cool. All right, we've got John from Canberra. He says, have you tried the Blues Cube Hot EL84 modified version? The Blues Cube Hot EL84 modified version. I've tried the Blues Cube before. No. Let me have a look. I'm out of the loop with the Blues Cube. So let's find out what's going on here. I'll share this with everybody too. You know, I got to test all their little plug things you'd put in the back, or whatever those tone capsules were called, or whatever. But yeah, I didn't know they'd sort of redone these. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Here we go. How do I move this over? It's gonna work. There we go. That's cool. Can't believe this actually works. All right, John, let me just move this out of the way. Where's the... I'm new to using this, guys. Just bear with me. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Got it. EL84 modified. So this is performance ready 30-watt combo with authentic tube tone and touch response. Where does it say? So this is like a Tube Logic thing, right? Oh no, here we go. British. It says over here. Oh, it doesn't let me do that. Oh yeah, here we go. It doesn't actually sort of give you any info on, like, is it actually tube based? Where's the specs? Let's have a look at this. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble seeing and moving the... Here we go. Does it actually have an EL84 in there? I don't think so, right? So maybe they've just emulated it. You know what? Rather than spend an hour on this, because I don't know much about it, I'll have to look into it. But thanks for the heads up. Yeah, I don't know much about this. Let us know in the comments what's going on with it, because just looking at this website here, it doesn't look like it's actually got an EL84 in there. But maybe it's just one of those tone plug things. Is that what it is? All right. I just want to buy an amp. I'm deciding which one to pick. I'm deciding between a Mustang 3 version 2 and a Supersonic 60. I mean, the Supersonic 60, I don't know what the Stage 1000 is, but the Supersonic 60 is in a completely different league. If you can find one of those, they're great. They're made in the US. They're heavy, but they're unreal, and they're loaded with a vintage 30. So if you, I gigged with one of those for a long time. It was one of the amps I should have kept, along with a few others. But that's definitely the one that I would have. Yeah, I mean that's as great as the Mustang 3 version 2 is. It's a very versatile amp. If you're playing only at home, get a digital modeling amp or a Katana or the Mustang or whatever. But if you want to play out live, the Supersonic 60's a monster. It really is. It's unbelievable. The stock speaker's pretty good. You could probably change it out to get a sound that you like more than the vintage 30. I always found them a little bit. I always had to like crank the bass all the way up or the mids all the way up or something like that on the drive channel with that particular speaker. But yeah, I mean, the two, you get two voicings on the clean channel and it's a monster. I mean, that to me is in a whole other league, mate. If you can find one of those and you can get it easy enough, get it. But if you're just a home player, it's overkill. It really is. It's too loud for home use to get it up to where it really starts to sing. Thing with tube amps or valve amps at low volumes, especially on the drive channels, you really have to push. You'll start to turn the gain up and it will sound kind of fizzy. The amps really like give you a big, broader sound by turning up the volume control. It kind of just opens up and sounds magic. So yeah. I mean, I don't think you can go too far wrong with a Supersonic 60 or even a 22 if you can find one that's in good working condition, because the Supersonic 22s recently have been, at least in my experience, pretty unreliable. But yeah, the old 60s, man, they're fantastic. All right. Oh, there we go. Every Korean guitar I own is great. Yeah, totally. I mean, made in Korea stuff is great. Good friend of mine bought a PRS SE Custom 24 recently. It was used. I looked at it and I went, oh, this I could tell visually. I said, can I have a look? And he gave it to me and I turned it around and made in Korea. I was like, yeah, it looked like it. It had a certain, yeah, I reckon those made in Korea PRS guitars are pretty special. I wonder if they'll go up in price over the next few years, because just the build quality wise, they're fantastic. Hey, thank you, Damon. I appreciate that, mate. Thanks for the super chat here. Purple mustache. I know when I put these overlays on, it doesn't show me the emoticon, but I appreciate it. Thank you, mate. That's awesome. I'll just take some questions here. All right. Already did that. That's cool. All right. All right, I'll just scroll. Sorry, mate. Where's your oh, here we go. Do you ever look back at your old videos to see what guitars you loved 5 or 10 years ago is with what you love right now? Yeah, totally. I mean, back in the day, all I wanted to play was either Fender or Gibson guitars. I always aspired just to play those, or I was playing like Squire or Epiphones. Like, that was all I was thinking about, because where I lived, that was basically all you could get. And then, you know, the world opened up when it came to Lefties. So all of a sudden, I flew over to Florida and I checked out Jerry's Lefty Guitars, and I got to play a whole bunch of guitars I'd never played before. And then all of a sudden, a guitar company started doing more stuff. So, you know, the PRS SE Custom 24 is one of my favorite guitars at all time. As I mentioned before, the Kiesel stuff. Suhr is another one that I think is just unbelievable. LSL. I got to play so many great guitars over the last sort of 5 years that I don't necessarily get that amped for the latest Fender gear or the latest Gibson gear anymore. prefer to try something else. Even the Epiphone stuff I still like. I think they're sort of pushing the quality up, and I've actually got an Epiphone out there. We might have a look at it later if we have time. But yeah, I think there's so many great guitars. I actually played one yesterday, and I've got the video in editing right now, and it's a guitar brand. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I've never played. I have played some guitars from that brand before, but this is a budget guitar, and it's going in the best of 2024. I couldn't care less anymore about what brand a guitar is. If it's good, it's good. That's just how I look at it now. My Tokai has outlived my Gibsons, and this isn't to say Gibson make bad guitars or anything like that. It's just my inspiration's totally changed now when it comes to picking an instrument. I don't care about the neck size as much as I used to. I do care about the fret size, but neck shape and neck profiles and frets and, size obviously makes a difference, but not in terms of 24 versus 22. If the guitar's good, I'm going to play it or hopefully buy it or whatever. So yeah, there's so much great stuff now. It's funny looking back because there were a few guitars I wish I kept. You know, you go, at least for me, I went through this long period of time where I was struggling to make ends meet for about 5 years, especially after I started trying to do YouTube, right? And yeah, I look back at some of those. Like I reply to comments as often as I can. I mean, there's hundreds of them that come through every day, but sometimes I see comments on an old video that's like from 15 years ago or something, and they're like, "Oh, why didn't you record it like this?" I'm like, "This is the first video of its type on YouTube." Like, you know, it wasn't a thing back then. So, and I'm like, man, I wish I had kept that Highway 1 Stratocaster, you know, or whatever. Yeah, I think I don't know. It's just like a nostalgia trip. I always feel like as you progress playing guitar, I wonder if that's enough to compensate for something I didn't like on a guitar back in the day. Because I've played so many more guitars now doing what I do. I can grab anything, even this Cork. I got a little Cork guitar back here that I'm using for the next video. And this isn't the guitar I was talking about before, but this is a guitar that's a couple of $100 in Australia. And, you know, I can make it sound good, but back then I probably would have struggled. So I don't know. It's sort of, there's so much good stuff, and I really wish I had kept a few of the older guitars I had in my collection, because those Highway 1 Strats were pretty wild. They were great value. But anyway, I went off topic there, but thank you. All right. Hey, Matty K, you're a madman. Oh, geez. Far out, dude. What are you doing? Wow. I'll buy you a beer or something. I don't drink, but you know, whatever. I'll get you a slab of Pepsi Max or something if I ever get to meet you, mate. But thank you. Far out. Personally, a Vibro Verb fan, but yeah, that's just me. Cheers, Shane. You rock, mate. Hey, no, thank you. I don't even know what to say to that, mate. You're way too generous, and thank you for the support. I thought that said $5, and I was blown away. Holy crap. Anyway, thank you, mate. Yeah, you're way too generous. Thank you. I'll keep an eye on the chat here if you if you want me to, you know, answer any questions here. Just add in the blues me. Thanks again, mate. Far out. All right. Waiting for the new Vox amps. Have they got new stuff in the works? Was anything hinted at potentially, or is it a reworking of Vox AC15s or 30s, or, you know, one amp I'd actually really like to get in the studio, maybe an AC10. Maybe an AC10. I've been thinking about it for a while. I might have to go down and test one out and maybe see what kind of vibe I can get out of it. Roland never make tubes amps. It'll be emulated. Okay, so that was in relation to the Blues Cube Hot. Yeah. The thing with that, right? They already sort of sound like that. It's basically a Blues Junior copy, but it's solid state. So you're getting a EL84 kind of vibe out of them, right? They don't sound like a 6L6 amp, and not unless they've changed something since I tested them. So that's it. That's really interesting. Nothing wrong with solid state. I think they're great. I just wish they'd take the price down a little bit for them. I think they're just, well, at least in Australia, you could buy a Blues Junior for the same price as a Roland Blues Cube, give or take. It might be a little bit different now. This is going back a few years, but yeah, I might have to try those again at some point. Anyway, we got Rusty from Texas. Welcome, mate. I hope you're doing well. If I could talk, I meant to say I hope you're doing well. All right, we've got Ryan here. He says, what's your opinion on the 2023 Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s? I heard they're a lot nicer than previous years. Yeah, I think Gibson and Epiphone are making great guitars at the moment. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of hype behind everything new, right? It happens. Like every time there's a new Fender Strat, it's the greatest Fender Strat since the last one. And there's minor changes, right? And I still feel like while they're great guitars, they're probably not like reinventing the wheel kind of thing. They're just refined a little bit more. So yeah, will they play better than something that's sort of like an entry-level Les Paul? Absolutely, but I don't know if they're going to be that much better than the old standards. I think they're just probably visually what a lot of people will like a lot more. The pickups are always good in sort of like the Gibson range. I really like their PAFs and burst buckers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, the 60s ones, they're great. I think I reviewed one a while back. Again, you kind of can't go too wrong with sort of like that series. They're all pretty solid. I don't know, again, if they're much better than prior years. I always say if you've already got a Les Paul, you don't need the new one, right? I don't always say that, but I sort of hint at it. It's like, if you already got a Strat, you probably don't need the next new one that comes out, because there's just slight differences in them overall. But anyway. We've got Paladico, is that how you say it? Good to see you. Thank you. You too, mate. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in. All right. We've got 12-string Squire Electric is a real cherry, worth a look. Okay, thanks, man. I haven't played a 12-string guitar in a long time. The last one I played was an acoustic. And yeah, I remember trying to tune it up, and I was struggling like you wouldn't believe. Or maybe you would. I don't know. I was having a hard time. Harder to find a bad guitar than a good guitar these days. 100%. And I think the biggest reason for that is crap quality and crap products get exposed pretty fast. And if something's not good, everyone will know about it. And companies can't afford, I guess, now to put something out and then have everybody rip it apart, because no one will want it and they've just blown their cash. So it has to be up to a particular standard. And that's a good thing. The internet's kind of made most any product company keep at least some sort of semblance of quality control and reliability. Not with everything. You know, there's startups that might have, you know, bugs in firmware of different types of electronics and stuff. But generally speaking, yeah, I know when I review stuff, even when it comes to tech on my other channel, it's like, here's all the problems with this thing. Address it in a firmware update. And that forces people to actually, you know, come up with a solution for bugs, and it works. So, yeah, with music gear, it's exactly the same thing. If a company has a bad run of guitars or amps, it's usually critiqued and hammered online, and then hopefully it's resolved in the next batch or run of them. Have you ever had a guitar? Oh, have you ever have a guitar that was just magic? I mean, yeah, I've had a whole lot of guitars that I've still got that I absolutely love using, and the Kiesel one they're both great, but the one with the humbuckers has been the best guitar I've ever played for the ones that I've got in my collection, at least. I love it. You know, my 50s American original Telecaster is a great guitar too, just straight off the shelf. That's, you know, right up there with some of the best. But yeah, I'm a big. I go through these phases with stuff. Like I'll just get right into Strats. I'll get right into back playing my Telecasters. I've got a Little Crow guitar I really like too. But the Kiesel quality and the playability is just crazy. It really is. It's so good. Oh, far out. I'll just take the super chats here, and then we'll go through everybody's comments. Thank you, DJ Funds. I appreciate that. Says, appreciate you and your work. Oh, thanks, mate. Today is a NAD for me. New amp day. Okay, Suhr Badger 35. We're gonna have to look this one up, mate. Let's do it. Let's have a quick look here. When I was at Jerry's Lefty Guitars last time, he had a Suhr amp, and unfortunately the one of the valves was gone, so I was unable to use it. Everyone's like, "Why don't you play through the Suhr?" I'm like, "It doesn't work." Let's bring this up, and thank you for the support, mate. I appreciate it. Look at this, woo, beautiful. Well, that's the 18, but there's the 35. Check that out. Very nice. So we got drive, bass, middle, treble, gain, and power is obviously just your master output. That looks great. Did you get a combo or the head? Is there a combo as well? I reckon amp heads are the way to go. If you're into, you know, mixing up your sound and you like different things, you can just get a good cab, get a great guitar head. I even though I don't do this, it's just I'm just thinking out loud. I think, you know, you can just plonk a different amp head on and get a completely different sound and get a great cab. I think that's a good thing. But man, Suhr make awesome stuff. So congrats, that's awesome. Hey, thanks again for the generosity, mate. I appreciate it. Far out. You guys are way too generous, man. Oh, geez. Robert, what are you doing? Thank you, mate. He says, been going through several amp videos, loads of information, and came to the conclusion that I need to view them all again. Cheers. Hey, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, my channel is weird, you know? Like, I used to get a lot of views back in the day, but before I think all the, you know, topical videos started really taking off, which is fine. And then my back catalog kind of simmers away in the background no matter what. And I sometimes think to myself, how do some videos that I do about an amp, like at no particular point in time, or at some particular point in time, I should say, just start taking off again? I don't know if it comes down to someone else releasing a video that's on the same thing that's more popular than my video, but I see this all the time, and I've got 3,000 videos on my channel, and I don't know how many amp videos I've done, but I'll tell you what, after this, I'll put a playlist down in the description so you can find whatever you're looking for. I've got a big amp playlist that I'll link to, but yeah, hopefully at some point I don't know, maybe I'm like, because I'm a lefty, a lot of people don't watch. I don't know what it is anymore, but yeah, thanks, mate. I appreciate the kind words and support there. That's awesome. And let us know what you're looking at. Actually, been going through several amp. I'll view them all again. I was going to say, if you're looking for anything in particular, mate, just let us know and I'll help you out. But thank you again. Thanks for the support. And guys, for the generosity. I'm going to leave the ads off the the replay here too. So thank you. This is just blowing my mind here. Thank you. All right. I'll just grab a quick drink here. I got my heater on inside, so I think I'm actually starting to feel it. One sec. All right, we are back. Anyway, yeah, I'll put the playlist down in the description and just help yourself to whatever videos I've got is the long story short. So thanks again, mate. All right. Oh, chat just went flying. Sorry, let me... Oh, where's the... Sorry, guys, one sec. Yeah, so Matty K saying the builds have gotten better lately. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, it's gotten to the point where you can't release junk because as soon as people realize stuff's crap, no one will want it. And how do you sell the stuff? I guess stuff like that would still sell to people who don't look, but most people who are looking for anything, right, will look up a review, either written or video review. And it's helped so much to boost the quality control. Hi, you were supposed to confirm us if the clean channel, the Joyo 22 and Jackman 2 were the same. Your first impression were they were the same. Are they the same? I think on the original ones they were very similar. I think on the new ones they're not. So yeah, I don't remember putting them side by side, but my instinct is the Tweedy one is the Fender-esque clean sound. So, and the voicing control does a very different thing. I could be wrong. I think the original run of those amps had very similar clean tones, and then the new ones were two unique voicings. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I was supposed to do a shootout and I totally forgot. I've still got those amps, so I can do that coming up. Thanks for the suggestion too. I'll get onto that. I've been really getting into making content again, as you can probably tell. So I'm taking all of these suggestions and making videos. I'm just gonna get stockpiled again ahead of time like I used to be, and I'm almost there. I've got some videos scheduled once a week until mid-August already, so I'm going to start filling in the blanks. I'll definitely do that, mate. Hang in there. Any experience with heritage guitars? Yeah, I have actually. Again, at Jerry's Lefty Guitars, I got to pick up and play a few. They're really nice. The only thing you got to think about when you are buying a guitar from heritage, I think, or even if you're buying them used, one, the resale value on them is pretty terrible, much like some of the Japanese brands. Not all of them, and it depends on where you live, but heritage guitars and guitar brands like Music Man or G&L, they just don't hold their value, at least where I live. And you have to offload them at a price that's kind of, sometimes it's a bit of a kick in the guts, as we say. So, yeah, I mean, quality control, they're awesome, right? There's nothing wrong with their build quality, aesthetics, or anything like that, but or tones. They're, basically like Gibson guitars at their best. But the fact is that not as many people will want to buy them. So moving them is sometimes hard, unless you're a lefty. Sometimes being a lefty is an advantage if you've got something that's a little bit different. But yeah, I think they're really solid guitars with generally pretty poor resale value compared to what you'd pay new. So just keep that in mind. If you're on the fence about it, think, maybe I'll just buy it, test it. If I don't like it, I can sell it. If you buy it new, you've basically just burnt your dough. So keep that in mind. All right, we've got Henry Wong says, "Hey Shane, love your videos. As always, followed your channels way back in the DeltaLab Green Overdrive pedal demo. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I bought that in San Francisco back in the day. I think that was around 2008. Yeah, I think it was. That was that pedal I've still got. It's funny. That's the only pedal I've ever owned that was like, I think it was like $40 or something. I can't remember the price. It was dirt cheap. I got it from Guitar Center in San Francisco. But the rubberized controls, they've gone all sticky. It's like they've melted or something. I don't know what happened to that, but it still works. Like it's a great tube screamer alternative. I wish DeltaLab was still doing stuff, because the price to performance and getting it like a metal enclosure was killer. But hey, thank you, Hendry. I appreciate the kind words, man. Murphy Lab R8. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Yeah, I think Murphy Labs here are like, I don't know, they're super expensive, about 15 grand or something. I think, or maybe more. I remember when I did the Sky Music Guitar Search Saturday video, I picked up one, and it was, yeah, I was like, gotta be careful with this one. I mean, they look beautiful. The job on the checking and which is kind of like the relicing, but or the, what do you call it? Like the lines through the finish. They nail it, and so do Fender. Fender nail that whole checking look too. However they do it well. Dr. Robert says, "I bought a Fender American Pro 2 Strat in Olympic white with a rosewood board. It's absolutely blown me away, better than I ever expected. Especially the pickups, they're fantastic." I totally agree, mate. The American Pro 2s are friggin' awesome. You know, I sometimes get in these sort of bad luck things with guitars. I really wanted one of those in Miami blue. I thought that color looked great, and I remember plugging it in and something wasn't wired up properly, and or no, it was the tremolo system wasn't right on it, and I thought, I don't want to have to get it fixed straight away. So I put it back. I ended up going, I should just get it and get the guys to set it up. So I went back and it was sold. So yeah, I've missed my chance with one of those. But yeah, if I find a Lefty American Pro 2 Strat in Miami Blue, I will most likely do something silly at some point. Do I own any offset guitars? I bought a Japanese Fender Hybrid Jazzmaster. The trem was horrid. It would never return to pitch. But I installed a Mastery Vibrato. Oh, Mastery Vibrato, and it's like magic. Very cool. No, excuse me. Sorry, guys. It's horrible. I should have muted, actually. No, I don't really own any offset guitars. I think I've got... What have I got? I've got a Harley Benton MR Classic baritone, and that's it. But I don't really use it. It's actually in a box. I should just give that away to someone at some point because I'm not using it. But yeah, I'm not a huge, like, visually. I don't love the offset look as much as a lot of people seem to like. I'm more of just like a boring guy when it comes to like shapes. Although I can live with kind of crazy headstocks now. To some extent. Yeah, it's I don't think I've got any others that are like offset. I think the Harley Benton will be it. That's, yeah. And again, I'm just not using that one, unfortunately. All right, I might just grab some caffeine here. All right, let's crack one of these guys open. Now, for those who are always on about my energy drink consumption, I'm not a coffee drinker. I prefer cold drinks because I'm a weirdo. And it's the morning time here, so it is what it is. All right, Paul says, have you ever tried a 90s Fender, is it Cornetto Relic? How much use and where does a Relic need to have to be no longer considered a Relic? All right, no. So I don't know what that guitar is. Let's have a look. I'll answer that second thing as well because I think that'll be. Let's just have a look here. Oh yeah. So there we go. I mean, yeah, it's definitely been Relic, right? So the Relic. To answer the second part of that question, anything that's got scratches, dents, fake wear and tear, checking on the finish, scratches, or the appearance of rust on the pickups, the hardware, anything like that, right? That's considered relicking, even on the plastics. The thing you'll find with a lot of Relic guitars that can sometimes look a bit weird if you get to the like less expensive side of the Relic sort of world is, see, the pick guard on this one. Is this going to load? Here's a good example. So this one here, this gold Strat, you can see that the body's been relicked, but the pick guard looks brand new. I always felt like that looks a bit weird. I don't know if that's just me, but what you'll find on a lot of like cheaper Relic guitars, especially even the made in China Tokai ones are a good example. They're relicked on the body to no end, but all the hardware's pristine, clean, and it looks a bit weird. That's just my opinion on it, but yeah. So I would say any Relic guitar technically would be anything that has any signs of cosmetic damage, unless it's not intentional, right? Like if it's a new guitar that's just on the shelf and someone drops it or knocks it into something, that's not the same thing as an intentionally relicked instrument. But yeah, I don't know that guitar. I mean, I've never heard of it before, but yeah. Seems confusing to me as a fellow lefty. How little new guitars are made in Lefty. That's probably the majority of made with CNC. really, how hard is it to flip a CNC? Yeah, see, this is the thing, Paul. I totally agree. Companies are lazy when it comes to making lefties. And the thing is, I've said this on other live streams or podcasts before, where if you only give left-handed guitarists one option, right? Like PRS is a great example of this. Anyone who owns a custom 24 won't go out and buy another one unless that's the only guitar they ever want to play. Like, why would I buy another one if I've got one or had one before? And Epiphone made this mistake for years, where they would give you like an Epiphone Les Paul, they give you a red SG, and they'd give you a red 335. And if you're a lefty and you've had plenty of guitars, or you've gone through the process like I have, where you think, oh, I'm playing a 335, and now I wanted to try an SG, now I want to have a Les Paul. Why would you go back and buy another one if they're the only three options, right? Unless you miss it or whatever. You're not going to... If you've only got three options and you go through them, or one option, and you've got it, you've basically killed your market. If there's five to choose from, it's in the incentive of the guitar company. Even if they don't sell as many lefties as they do right-handed guitars. I think as soon as the PRS lefty comes out, the SE Silver Sky, I'm interested to try it out. I really am. I think it might be a fun sort of project guitar. But they've not had my business since, because they've only had one option. And, you know, if someone doesn't even like that SE Custom 24, then they've got no option. It's such a strange way of thinking. I kind of don't get it. And there's less bias now towards lefties in the world. Like, you can get almost anything left-handed or right-handed now, or it just doesn't matter. But yeah, the guitar companies are still a little bit behind. There's plenty that are doing lots of them. So I got to give credit to, you know, even Fender. They bring out a lot of lefties, maybe not in every color and all that kind of stuff, but over the years they've always had custom shop, you know, entry-level Squires and all that kind of stuff. Even Gibson have been good. I can go to Sky Music and pick one of 10 different lefties off the wall, and I really like that. But yeah, there's some companies that just do the same thing, and they expect their sales to go up. It's like, dude, all the lefties who wanted this probably already have it, or, you know, whatever the case is. Why would they buy another one? I don't understand it. Hopefully they start doing more. But yeah, this is where those specialty shops really make a difference too. Like, I'm lucky. Sky Music usually have like 40 lefty guitars in at any one time. But, you know, go to Jerry's Lefty Guitars, the whole shop's left-handed. It's great, and it does your head in because you're not used to seeing it. You know, go into Guitar Center, my brain sort of switches off until I can see one that's the opposite way around. And I'm like, there it is, the black Squire in the corner. But yeah, anyway. Let me just scroll down. Have you considered... Hey, thanks, Danny. I appreciate it, mate. I think you're a member by the looks of the little star there. That's cool. Have you ever considered doing some videos with custom guitar builders, interviews, aside from their workshops, etc.? I have. I really want to start doing different things this year. And the problem with doing interviews, I don't want to do like a web interview. I don't really think that's like, you know, where someone's on the other end, because the audio sucks. And I'd rather do something in person with a few different people that build great instruments. Even talk to some techs about some stuff might be cool. So yeah, hang in there. I think, as you've probably already seen, I'm trying some different things. I'm actually going to shoot a video today that's not in the studio. So you might see that pop up if it's any good. But yeah, totally, mate. I reckon I probably will do something like that coming up. So hang in there. Thanks, man. All right. Oh, ready. Okay. Let's have a look. All right, we've got Guitar Man 45. Welcome, mate. Thanks for joining in. Oh, I missed a question. Where was it? Oh no. It was right around here. Where is it? I was going to take a question. I saw it before. Now, when the chat moves, I've lost it. Anyway, that's all right. I'll scroll back up in a sec. Hey, Dwight's here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. You might want to get your eyes looked at, mate. You got the Superman laser death beams, or what's his name? Homelander. Learned to play righty when they told me that a lefty bass was $80 more and 7 weeks shipping time. I had no patience. $80. Yeah, wow. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't switch. There's just no way. Like, some people have got enough dexterity to do that. I don't. Like, my left hand has nowhere near the same motor skills as my right hand. Like, and it's not even close, you know. If you look at, like, the way I type as well, I'm pretty competent on the computer, but my right hand just seems to be more accurate with stuff. And just generally, like, my right hand, like, if you're tapping something on the, you know, if you're playing a game or something, you're using your right hand for the buttons. It's so much easier with my right hand. I can't do it the same thing with my left. I don't know if that's just years of playing games when I was a kid or what, but yeah, my motor skills in my right hand are so much better. And when I used to air guitar as well, it's always been lefty. Like, I just, before I even touched the guitar, I used to rock out as a kid. It was like I was strumming with my left hand. There's just no way of switching that over. And I mean, there's dudes like Mark Knopfler who obviously learnt right-handed and he's lefty. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think at least now it's easy enough to find stuff. Back then, it might not have been easy enough to find stuff. Jeez, man. Matty K, thank you, mate. Far out. Send me your PayPal, mate. I'll send some of this back. Just a shout out to all of you that have followed Shane from the beginning. What a ride. Hey, thank you, mate. Yeah, this year it's been 10 years full time, and it was late April of 2024. Been doing this full time, and it's been an interesting roller coaster of a journey. I got to tell you, sometimes I love it. Other times it's frustrating. Other times there's no inspiration, and other times there's plenty of inspiration. And yeah, I'm finding I'm at the best mindset I've been at in a long time doing this right now. I realized a lot of the things that I probably wasn't enjoying doing was my own fault. So I've been really enjoying it. And everybody, thanks again for all the support. Yeah, you guys are way too kind. Thank you again, Matty. I appreciate it, mate. Oh, here's the question. Sorry, I missed it before. Michael, hey, welcome, by the way. He says, I know you owned an AC15. Is it an amp you would play again? I feel like the AC15s are so underrated. Unreal, clean, natural tones for blues rock. Yeah, I was just talking about this earlier. I could absolutely see myself getting an AC10, mostly for the studio here. The AC15s are great amplifiers. They just require a slightly different pedal combination to what I'm currently using to get the most out of them. You can just sort of run it like a treble booster or a clon into them, but I think they sort of shine with like a tube screamer, which I've got a few of as well. But I would need to kind of like I almost need a separate overdrive setup for a Vox, but the Vox amps are killer. There's no questions about it. I used to gig with an AC15 and a 30. The 30 was just ridiculous. It was so heavy, but the tones were great. And you're right, they sort of know, especially the AC15, it nails that off clean sound, and they sound quite a lot larger in a room over a Blues Junior, which has more of that sort of focus sound. Yeah, the AC15s are great, and they're reliable as. Like, I never had any issues with either of my two amps. They were just, you know, they did gigs at almost maximum volume. That's maybe my only concern with buying another AC15. A lot of the places, well, not a lot of the places, where I'm mostly playing now, 15 watts is kind of borderline. I don't know if it's enough sometimes. It probably will be, but yeah, I do miss not having a Vox amp. So maybe an AC10 might be in the future. We'll see how we go. But good to see you, mate. Thanks again. Jerry says, has Dr. Rick had any interesting purchases lately, guitar or amps? Just wondering. So we've got Rick coming back potentially on either this Friday or next Friday or very soon. I spoke to him about doing some stuff, so he'll be in the studio here. We'll do some videos together. We may actually do a dual live stream, so hang in there for that. If it works out, we'll maybe reschedule the, this sort of midweek one to later in the week if he's available for that. But yeah, he's got some cool stuff to share with you. He hasn't gone too crazy. He actually sold some amps, I think, recently, and he modded one of his Strats or Strat style guitars with some new pickups, and that's what we'll be showcasing. But yeah, I'll let him talk about that because he knows far more about it than I do. I have a mute button. How about that? Sorry, guys, I'm burping in the microphone. Yeah, he'll definitely be back. There's actually I want to include him in one of the podcasts as well. There's a topic I want to cover with him because we both have some thoughts on it, and yeah, I'll post it up as a separate sort of dedicated video. Let's scroll down. Hey, how about this? While I'm looking for comments here, I recorded this little background tune with I don't know, hopefully it's playing, with the Kemper the other day. Just laid up some delay, and I thought I'm going to start making some more sort of background music tracks. All right, pull this down. So I'm not sure how to say your name, mate. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why, but the Tele I'm interested in is the Fender Japan Teles. Not pulled to any US Mex Squire models. I mean, the Japanese ones are pretty solid, and it looks like, actually, I just found this out the other day. So I've always complained about some of the Japanese-made Fender guitars having really small frets, but I went into Sky Music to grab a few of these other guitars that I'm showcasing, and they're not as small as they were now. So at least on the model that I saw, there was one Lefty they had in the shop. But yeah, just there's a few compromises with them over some of the other ones, and vice versa too. I think generally they're a little bit lighter, which is kind of nice. Yeah, just double check the frets, make sure they're not those little micro frets, because you'll just melt through them. And just check the hardware is all solid as well. And if it checks all those boxes, go for it. There's nothing wrong with Japanese guitars inherently. But yeah, back in the day, man, the Fender made in Japan stuff had just the smallest frets. And I just always found it a struggle to play them. Hey, number 4's here. Welcome, mate. That's the easiest username ever. Log in with the username 4. Done. Thanks for joining in, mate. That's awesome. Yeah, here we go. So Kiesel, Eastwood, Eastman, Schecter, LTD all do well with lefties. Yeah, there you go. I mean, Schecter, I think, have the most left-handed guitars of any brand. It's just a shame I'm not a metal guy. But they do have a few that, I think right before the pandemic crap that happened, I think it was right around that time, I was supposed to do some stuff with Schecter that I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying them. And we couldn't come to a good arrangement with them. They wanted I have this thing where I don't like giving out personal details, like credit card info, and I think they wanted all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, just drop them off at my house and I'll sign a piece of paper that says if I've damaged anything, I'm not giving you my credit card details. Anyway, so yeah, I think it all sort of fell through, but yeah. Anyway, I would like to check some of those out at some point. And Sky Music, unfortunately, don't have them, so. All right, the range, welcome, mate. He says, I have an IBI AM93 in Lefty. You know what? Let's find out what that is. I have no idea what that is. AM93. Oh, here we go. So this is this is the one thing about Ibanez guitars, man. What's with the naming conventions? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, nice. Very cool. I mean, these look great. I like how there's like Greco Guitars in the search results here, but yeah, that looks awesome. Very nice. Sort of like a modern version of a 335. Super cool. And thanks for the support, mate. Looks like you could be a member as well, judging by this little yellow thing. So yeah, thank you. All right. There you got Matty Q. Welcome, mate. Yeah, Schecter has a ton of Lefty models. There we go. Dougal's here. Yes, hadn't considered the Lefty issue when recommending you to check out the new PRS SE NF3. Yeah, see, that's a great example of that. Why don't they just make a Lefty, do a run of them right at the start? If it's just one run, everyone who wants one will get one. It just makes sense, right? But yeah, no, I always request things, man, because, you know, there might be an opportunity where I can have a right-handed player help out at some point. And I think coming up, I'm going to do a couple more of those guitar shop sessions. We're sort of in the early organizing stage of that. So that could be something that we can showcase on a, you know, a video like that. Yep, Greg, that's a good idea, man. I can definitely do that. I don't really know any techs that well, but if for those of them who know their stuff, actually, yeah, I know one relatively well. I'll see what I can do. That would be a great sort of topic. My 4 favorite guitars of what I own are somewhat different to the price ranges. A Fender Aerodyne, yeah, they're great. Gretsch Electromatic, and the Artist TC59, very cool, mate. I have a HB Harley Benson BM75, all vastly different guitars and prices. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if a guitar is good now, it is good. I love that Harley Benson Tele I've got, that Fusion T. That thing's a beast. It's really good. I might actually take that out and play it live. I think I've just got to adjust the action slightly. It was in the cupboard for a while at my old house, and that was always a bad thing. But I still break it out on videos from time to time because it's just a great guitar to play. I play left-handed, but right-handed. Wow, that's insane. Well done. Oh, thank you, Maddie. I appreciate all your support, mate. Some of the, there's a handful of guys that have been around for years, and yeah, thanks again. Well, not a handful. There's been a big portion of people who have been watching for years, but people who continue to support the channel and comment and join the live streams. There's, I see a handful of familiar names every time, and thank you again, mate. Hey, look at this guy. Dr. Rick's in the house. We were just talking about him before. I'm supposed to be working via telehealth today, but I'm having way too much fun hanging out here. Well done, mate. I was just saying to the guys before, I don't know how long you've been watching, but we're going to do some stuff coming up whenever you're free on a Friday or whatever, and I've got a podcast topic we can do as well, talking about a few things that I think you'll get a laugh out of. So, yeah, anytime, mate. Just let us know. I've got the place to myself. It's the batch pad at the moment while Rhiannon's away, so yeah, we can make some noise. Jamal's here again. Welcome back, mate. If you left and came back, all right. Yeah, I didn't give away what Rick's got either. I didn't want to sort of spoil the surprise, so we'll do a few videos here. The setup here now makes it really easy to film and record, and the Kempers just been an absolute productivity beast when it comes to just doing guitar related stuff. It's unbelievable. I get all of my sounds out of these amps just by going click. It's awesome. I actually reprofiled a whole bunch of my amps recently with 2 mics. I recorded using a SM57 and E906 again recently for the first time in a while, because I like to sort of mix up mics, and it's like, why didn't I profile doing this? So I got my mixer out and I got the sound, and I reprofiled the amps, and it's unreal. It's such a great piece of tech. 14 years after it came out, still doing things that a lot of digital things anything digital's obsolete. Like, look at an iPhone 14 years ago, right? Was it even out? Oh, I guess it was. But yeah, look how far those things have come. And then this is still doing the same thing extremely well. Like, it's crazy. It's just one of the rare occasions where like digital tech is, I think the internal componentry and how it mimics the sound is about all, it must be all it actually needs to do it. Even all these years later. It's crazy. There we go. So he's been a slightly naughty boy buying a little bit of gear. So there we go. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a rig rundown with you at some point, Rick. So let us know when we can do that. That'd be super cool. I saw the video of Dr. Rick playing the Epiphone Tiger Maple Flying V, and I had to go buy one. Yeah, very cool. Was that at the guitar shop? Was that one of those videos? I can't remember that one. Yeah, it was. I think it was, actually. It had the, what were those pickups called? The Fluence pickups? Is that what they're called? Maybe try the AC30 head. It has power scaling too. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's great. Oh, I missed the question here. Did you ever review the DSL5 when you said the clean channel was too clean to break up? I bought a second one. Do you think a tube screamer or another pedal will give it a boost? I have reviewed the DSL5. It was years ago, like when they first came out. It's probably like, I would say almost 8 years ago. The funny thing is, there was one at the store the other day, and I thought maybe I should revisit that amp. So the clean channel's pretty clean most of the turn, but if you dime it, it will start to break up. I'm almost certain of that from memory. But yeah, you can absolutely run like a tube screamer, which will give you a mid-hump sound, or you can get more of like a sort of like a blues driver or OD3 kind of thing, where it keeps like the frequency of your guitar tone there without really sort of boosting it in the mids. That's also a good way to go. Yeah, check out, I think they've got the clean, I'm going to go on from memory here. I think they've got the clean channel and the ultra gain channel, right? Is that how that one's set up? But they're great little amps, man. I think, actually, Rick and I might have used one in the shop one time, like with the band setup. I'm almost certain we did that. I do so many videos that I can't remember all of the scenarios and amps and gear anymore, but they're great little amps, mate. And yeah, a tube screamer, or look up at it. I think a good match for that amp might be something more like a Boss OD3. Take a look at that. That's a good value pedal, and it doesn't sort of unless you find the amp too bright. The tube screamers or a normal tube screamer will tend to kind of roll out a little bit of tops. If you want to keep that there, blues driver maybe, or a OD3's pretty great. I got to test one of them again recently, and it's amazing. It's a great sounding pedal. Do you still use the Royal Flush? 100%. I love that pedal. Again, I've got it's my #1 go-to pedal for the last 6 years. Anyone who knows me can attest to that. It's my favorite overdrive of all time. It's so good for what I like. I love it. Yep. I get that joke. All right. Brandon says, hey Shane, honest question. Should I buy 2 tube amps, one good clean and one good high gain on modeler, or save the money? You know, there's if you're playing at home, digital modeling amps are the way to go. They're easier to get a sound that you'll be happy with. But if you aspire to play live, the tube amps are just way better. They are. And I don't care what any other YouTuber says, because I've used both in the context of a live mix. And while you can use digital modeling amps live, there's exceptions to the rule. This is just a broad statement. The tube amps are on a whole other level. The thing with a good clean channel amp, you can use any sort of dirt pedal and get a great sound. It doesn't matter. This is the thing. I got my Royal Flush. I've got a Klon style pedal on a board, and I can go into anybody's great sounding clean channel amplifier and get my sound, essentially. It's going to be slightly different, but whether I'm playing in a PV, a Marshall, Fender, a Music Man, or whatever, it just doesn't matter, because you've got your board, you've got your sound. If you dial in the clean tone the way you like it, everything's going to sound basically the same. And I think that's a lot easier than sometimes trying to look for an amp with a great distortion channel, because a lot of amps won't have great clean and dirty. The DSL-40 is a bit of an anomaly because that can kind of do both really well, and it gives you like a high gain tone. But the clean is arguably not as nice as what you would find on a Fender amp. And if you're using pedals, you probably won't need the drive channel. So yeah, you've kind of got to work out what works best for how you want to play. But I wouldn't necessarily think it's a good idea to buy two tube amps, one with a great clean, one with a great dirty. You've got to probably, I would just buy one that does both pretty well. You know, Engle's another one that does both pretty well. So you got Boogie, gives you an okay clean. I find it a bit clinical, but their drive channel is like ridiculous. It's so good. Engle does both really well. It's got more of a focus sound. Fender do the clean thing like basically nobody else. And Marshall kind of get it right on both. But the clean is, you know, subjectively not as good as, you know, one of the other brands. So like Fender. But anyway, it's a hard thing to answer. If you're just playing at home, get a Katana or a Mustang 3 version 2 or something like that, and you'll be sorted. There's no real need to go no need to go crazy playing at home with gear. All right. I'll let the chat decide on that one. Everyone can work that out for themselves. There's an old saying or math rule, you know, like the only number of guitars you should have is, you know, whatever the guitars is plus one. So I can't remember the equation on that, but it's pretty funny. Hey, we've got Serious Amplification here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for being a channel member too, mate. I appreciate your support. That's awesome. That's super cool. We'll probably wrap this up kind of soon too. I'll do it. We'll go for another 15 minutes, but I got to eat some lunch at some point. I've got to get out of the house today because I didn't do any of that yesterday. I just filmed 3 videos. All right. Dougal says he has an artist TC59. He needs a small crane to lift it. Yeah, that first run were pretty heavy. That was, you know, I said that in my review too. Like, these are the heaviest guitars I've ever picked up. But they're cool. They look really good. They sound great. I shouldn't drink fizzy drinks and then use a microphone like this. Sorry, guys. Medicay saying hi to Dr. Rick. We got Buzz. Welcome back, mate. Made another live stream. Thank you again for also a channel member and mod. So thanks, man. Oh, I always laugh at that photo. It's great. I always call it the cake eating photo. Like, I know it's not, by the way, but yeah, that's great. Thanks again for joining in, mate. And for those who have just joined too, if you missed the start, I'll go back and timestamp the live stream so you can skip around and do all that kind of stuff. Rick says, I'm a bit sick at the moment, as soon as I'm better. Oh yeah, no problems, mate. You can leave the bells at home, mate. No, that's great. Thanks again. Hope you're feeling better, man. That sucks. Rhiannon's going through she's got a cold as well at the moment, so she's fighting that off. I think she got it on the plane going out west. So yeah. There's a Charvel Super Strat. Thank you, Adam. He says there's Charvel Super Strat in black and white. You can only get left-handed. You can get a similar one, but the hardware is chrome instead of white, and it has a Floyd. Yeah, I had Fender sent me a Charvel at some point. It was like a San Dimas or something like that, and yeah, I just never bonded with it personally. But a really well-made guitar. And I have seen the one you're talking about with the Floyd. It's kind of, yeah, it's too grungy for me, that one. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Floyd Rose thing. I think I don't know, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong pretty bad when it comes to tuning. You break a string, you can't do the double stops thing, and I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know what else to say to that. iPhone is 17 years old. Well, there you go. Far out. I remember, actually, I never saw the first one I think the first one I ever saw was maybe like the iPhone, what was it, the 3? Maybe in Australia, something like that. I don't remember seeing him before then, but yeah. The range says he's been on good behavior, no gear purchases in a while. Sorry. Well, that's good. Well done. I had to get some new cables the other day. That's about the extent of my my gas. But every time I go to Sky Music, I'm looking at their Gretsch wall to see if they've got another one of those Lefty Electromatics. It's still in there. I should have got that one in Queensland. And anyway, hey, thanks for your support too, mate. I appreciate it. My DSL 40 from Sweetwater with the custom Celestion UK made Creamback. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it is heavy, man. But wait till you've picked up a PV Classic 50. And then you'll go, oh, this DSL is awesome. I got to be honest, though, anytime now, especially after I tore my forearm tendons, I had like 8 months of that. That sucked. I've just used trolleys now to get them around. So if I have to take my my Marshall to a jam or whatever, it goes on a trolley straight from the garage here. You know, well, not in the garage, but put it in the car, take it to the jam or whatever, and I wheel them in because I'm like, yeah, it only takes a little bit of bad form to hurt your back, or, you know, and I don't want to rip this tendon thing again. So I've been kind of cautious with that. But a Creamback in that amp would sound great because it would also tame the top end. That's a really great choice. So I didn't know they did that. That's such a great combination. Awesome. Man, Sweetwater's where it's at. They're so good. Cowhide Music says, clean tone is the key. Find a good tube amp and either crank it or get a great overdrive pedal like the Marshall 18 watt with a Wampler hot wide. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of my friend circle are kind of feeling the same thing. Like we've been looking for these sort of like amps with great drive channels, but you end up, if the thing is, they can sound great on their own, but when you play live, you still might want to boost. So you bring in some pedals, or maybe you're not. I don't know. But yeah, even with my DSL, right? Like I play on the crunch channel. I love that. And if I'm bringing the foot switch, I can dial in the second crunch channel louder and with more gain. So I've got that ability to do that. But with most amps, if they've got a great drive channel, they don't have another drive channel. So you're forced to bring a boost or another overdrive or a dirty. I usually play a clone through the, or a clone or whatever through the Marshall if I'm using the crunch channel. I love that extra kick it gives you. So yeah, a lot of us have come to the conclusion that the clean channel thing, if your amp doesn't already have a great drive channel, it's just easy because you can, once you get your pedals set up, you're done. And it almost doesn't matter which amp you get if the clean channel's good between a single 12-inch combo, a 10-inch Princeton amplifier, a Blues Junior, or a PV50, you can dial them in. So it's about finding what works for your particular ear and sound, and then it'll work on basically everything. So yeah, anyway, that's a long-winded answer to nowhere. Sorry, Cowhide. Oh man, I'm so behind the chat here. Far out, guys. I think I got a super chat notification here. There you go, Buzz. Thank you, mate. Far out. You're a madman. Thank you for the super chat and for the cake fund. That's hilarious. Yeah, it might look like he's in the snow, but he's a madman cake eater. No, I'm only joking. So, hey guys, thank you again for this live streaming thing. I'm using Ecamm here. It's great. It allows me to go back over all the, you know, everyone who did the super chats, stores them in a separate thing, so I can't miss them or anything. This is great. So thank you again, mate. I do appreciate it. I'll be in meetings while this goes live, so I hope everyone has a good one. Oh, that's right at the start. Thank you, mate. A Kempers easy for casual use, I guess that. For casuals to use maybe is what it means. So it's a weird thing with the Kemper, right? The process of like getting your amplifier sound recorded basically or emulated in the Kemper isn't hard. It's loud, but it's not that hard. The problem is if you are looking for really complex tones and you're looking for a particular delay, or you're going to be using the onboard effects, the menu system isn't the best. This is where if they ever make another one of these, some sort of big LCD or iPad style screen would be awesome, because you could just start tapping and doing this. Now you can hook it up to the computer, which helps a little bit, but I don't love the interface. And I find it a little clunky to get through things. But once you've got the sound that you like on the Kemper, it's easy just to dial in more reverb, delay, and assign an effect. But the menu, trying to find certain things, like it gives you what they call like a legacy reverb effect, which is kind of like a, you know, an ambient reverb kind of sound. But I like spring reverb. And to get to that, I have to turn this control like 45 times to find it, right? So that's a little frustrating. But the good thing is, once you've got it set up, like I've got it set up right now, you can kind of copy effects across to other saved presets. So I've got them all kind of the same. So I've got the clean tones, the drive tones, the high gain tones. And then all I have to do now is hit the delay button and reverb button on and off if I need that. That's it. So I've got it acting like an amplifier, but not utilizing 95% of what it can do. I'm just making it work like it would be an amp in the room. It's really easy to go, oh, I can add all these different delays and layer up this. But then all of a sudden, you're not really getting your sound. You're getting like something far different. And for the consistency of what I do, I don't really want that. I just want it to sound like the amps everyone's used to. So that's how I'm running it. And yes, it can kind of be used in a simple way, but there is a learning curve. And I find, because it's not a typical digital modeling amplifier, it's a little bit different. Like a digital modeling amp just is like referenced amps and all, you know, they have their VOX one, they have all that. To get the most out of this, you basically have to use, you're recording your own amps. It's a different kind of thing to a lot of the other solutions out there, and that's what appealed to me. I can get my sound. I'm not just getting a representation of a VOX or a PV or a, not that I own a VOX, but or a Fender. I'm actually getting my amp with my speaker with this microphone. And to me, that was the most important thing when I'm doing what I do. I want to be able to give people the sound they're used to. So yes, they're pretty easy once you get them set up, but the learning curves, it's definitely there. You'll run into some roadblocks with stuff, and you try to profile something and it says the return level's too low. Well, how do I change that, right? And then it's like, oh, it's this dial. Where's that? So, yeah. It's not harder to use than digital multi-effects units or anything like that, like a processor pedal. I don't think it's harder than that. I just think the interface is less intuitive when it comes to diving through the 5,000 effects it has built in. And again, you'll never use most of them. I don't think most people will use most of the effects that are in there. Anyway, so hopefully that helps. I'll just scroll back up here. I know I missed a whole bunch of stuff. I just want to get down to the down to the bottom of the chat here. All right, can you recommend a decent quality priced headstock tuner? I haven't had much luck with the ones I've bought. I actually have a few of them. Nuex make good ones. I have no problems with that. Actually, I think I've lent that to Rhiannon while she's away. So, yeah, if you live in Australia, check out these guys. These little artist guitars ones. These are really good. And the one I'm lazy enough to be using a lot, I use this on all my videos, this little roadie tuner. So this is like one of those automatic ones, and it actually works. I'll show you that it actually works. Check this out. So I use this now for tuning up because it's, let's detune. I know this thing's a bit different, but check this out. So on this, where is it? I go next, It says guitar, and I hit next. And it's on E. So here we go. Beeps, you're good to go. Real-time demo. I use this every day in the studio now when the batteries go bad in like one of my you know, clip-on ones. It's the lazy way of doing it, but it's super precise. I tested it using the Kemper tuner, and it's spot on. Whether you're left or right-handed. So you get the idea, right? It's pretty quick. And it also has a wind capability that I really like as well. So you can like wind strings on without having to do this all the time. But yeah, Artist Guitars make a good one. UX makes a good one. My favorite one is this Snark are pretty good too. Like I had a, actually, have I still got that one? I've had that other one. I've had a Shark or Snark. So it's one of the two. I've had it for probably 10 years and it's still working. So I can recommend those as well if you're just looking for one that you can clip on. But yeah, the UX ones are really good. I can recommend them. If you want one that does all the strings, then you're going to have to spend more. But I don't sort of think you really need that. Just as long as it's reliable on one string, you're good to go. Oh, here we go. So saying Cork Pitch Crow G is a decent clip-on tuner. Very cool. No way I'll use a Kemper. Oh, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't... people don't sort of seem... there's a misunderstanding about what they do and why, but not every tool is for everybody. Like, if I can get 99% of my tone without having to go deaf doing what I do, like by cranking amps, I'm taking that opportunity. It's the most accurate representation of my sound. And using different mics will give you different results because that's the sound that's getting recorded. It's killer. It's not a digital modeling amplifier like a traditional one. It's capturing the sound of your gear, whether you've got pedals going into the signal chain or whatever. It's unbelievable. It's so cool. It's a bit easy sometimes to overdo the reverb. You know, there's a few videos that I've just, as I've started using it, I'm like, man, I had too much reverb. But the more I'm using it, the more I'm like, this thing just, like, I turn it on, I've got my Fender, turn it, the next control, I've got my Marshall, I've got the PV, it's got the Artist Tweed Tone. It's super cool. What's the best amp I've ever played? Man, you know, there's a few. There's not like one that really is like better than all of them, but the clean channel on this PV is unreal. Like, I like 4x10 inch speaker cabs. I think they just sound amazing. That's great. The Fender Super Reverb, you know, it could go either way, right? The Super Reverbs are just beautiful sounding amps. This has an advantage that it has a drive channel, but the Super Reverb has like beautiful tremolo and the best reverb you're ever going to hear. So that would be right up there as well. I remember playing one of Rick's amps, the Two Rock Crystal was pretty great too. Like I was close to buying that, but it was probably a bit out of my budget. But yeah, the Two Rock stuff was pretty nice too. Another one that really sort of, like, I really love the Marshall. For me is 90% of what I like in my head, so it's pretty close, but it doesn't give you the big clean super reverb vibe, right? It's just two different things, but the drive channel on that is like ridiculous. The crunch channel's killer. I actually prefer the crunch channel on this Marshall, I think, over almost all of them that I've played. The Silver Jubilee's got a great drive channel too, but yeah, I don't know if there's one. I think there's like the great clean channel amps, and then there's like the great drive channel amps. I don't know if I've got a all-time favorite, but being that I'm more partial to like great clean tones, it'd be the Fender Super Reverb. I've said that for years. I think that's just, that clean tone's magic. And I always wanted one of these PVs because they're every bit as good, only heavier. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Man, far out. You guys, what are you doing? Thank you, guys, for the support. More Than Good Enough says, your positivity and honesty has helped me focus has helped my focus over the years. Thanks, Shane. Hey, thank you, mate. I do appreciate it. Wow, I don't know what to say. I'm 100% won't be putting ads on this live stream as a way of saying thanks to everyone who supported it. So, yeah, guys, thank you again. Far out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is blown my mind. I mean, this is insane. So thank you. If you have any questions, mate, just always add in the blues me here, and I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, thanks again for the support. Let us know. Actually, let's do this before we wrap this up. Let us know where you're watching from as well, because yeah, it's midday here in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. So it'd be interesting to see where everyone's watching from. And then, hey, we've got Jose here as well. And thank you again for the super chat, mate. This is crazy. Jose, thank you, mate. Oh, there he. Oh, sorry, he's talking to someone else. But welcome. if you, I might have clicked the wrong one before, but yeah, thanks for joining in. Oh, here we go. It says Dave Neely has worked on guitars with Chet Atkins, Carlos Santana, Kurt Cobain, Bob Dylan. He was on tour with Waylon Jennings, Tech, Eric Clapton. Check out the post. Who? No, I'm only joking. I don't know any of those guys. They can't be as famous as Dr. Rick. Bob Dylan. Never heard of him. That's crazy. Hey, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Now that it's on screen here, I can go, when I timestamp it, I'll look it up. Thanks again. Yeah, that's yeah, even Rick saying thanks. Thanks again, mate. Far out. Hey, thank you, Rummy. Thanks again for all the support, mate. He says, Shane, any tips to help you remember turnaround riffs in tunes? My memory is terrible. I would shed stuff, then forget. Yeah, I mean, let's do a quick thing here. Is this gonna work? No, it's not, because it's not plugged in. Yeah, I mean, one thing you got to do with guitar, right, is get to the point where you can go, even if you're not singing the right note, you got to know like what's coming out of it. And with turnarounds, they should sound familiar to you. And if you're forgetting them, it generally means you haven't committed them to memory. It's really easy to learn a riff and think you've got it, and then you haven't got it drilled in. You've got to drill stuff in. Like when I was learning this, I just practiced that for like days until I got it in my muscle memory. And then I had to play live, which was a different thing, and I had to work it into my playing. But turnaround should all sound familiar, like you want to be able to sort of like sing along. Another thing people do, I actually got a video planned about this kind of thing. Practice stuff at different speeds, right? You know, that helps you retain the muscle memory and also the ear memory as well, because it comes down to both. Yeah, but singing and playing the parts makes a huge difference to your improvisation technique. So, you know, yeah, so you want to be able to hear that, and that all comes from drilling it in. You know, so yeah, even if you can't pitch, you can hum it to yourself, right? Or find out where you can, like, there's some classic turnarounds at the start of classic songs, like one of Eric Clapton's I Got a Kind-Hearted Woman, right? He goes, it's actually a bit longer, but he goes, and you can remind yourself, oh, it's the Kind-Hearted Woman intro. You know, that's another way you can just remember how it starts and remember the turnaround, then fit it in. So, yeah, if you're forgetting any lick that you're learning, you're not spending enough time on it. You've got to practice it over, you know, over and over different songs and different speeds, and then find out how it fits, because it's really easy to think you've got a lick and then you go back the next day, you can't remember how it sounds. You got to drill it in. It happens to all of us, except for Dr. Rick. But yeah, for us mere mortals, I got to do the same thing. While I can work out stuff pretty fast when it comes to blues, it all comes from being able to kind of sing it in my head and knowing the rough idea behind it. I can't work out like a lot of Bonamassa runs, right? Because I don't play like that. But the traditional blues stuff I can hear and piece it together pretty easily now. So yeah, 100% singing the lines would help. No question about it. Bought an Egnator tweaker head and cab, and they sold them off last Black Friday, and it's quite nice. Very cool, mate. Awesome. I used to have one of their heads back in the day, and cab, and it's funny because I ended up selling it because the cab I had was too small. And then I went to a gig, and another dude was using the same head through a 2x12, and it sounded ridiculously good. They're cool little amps. So yeah. Actually, I don't think I had a tweaker. I think I had a... You know what? Maybe it was. I can't remember. Another one of those this is lost in the ether moments. Maybe I'm going senile or something. Oh, Delta. Yeah. Oh, I'm talking Delta or P Delta blues. Okay. I might have missed something here. I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you're talking about the turnarounds, you've just got to kind of, like any lick or any part, you've got to have a frame of reference for it. And if you find the song that uses that turnaround, it's really easy to sort of connect it musically in your mind. All right, let's see where everyone's from here. Western suburbs in Chicago. Very cool. We've got Joe Bonamassa in the house. The range. Thanks for your support, mate. I appreciate it. LA. Lots of folks here from the US. Vermont. New York City. Very cool. Buzz is in his living room. Great. Awesome. Tacoma, Washington, Kentucky. Very cool. Oh, Matty K, man. What's going on here, man? We got Paul Webster in Chicago. Sorry, I'm just looking and not saying much at the moment. But we got Matty. Thank you again, Matty K. Far out. Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, that's a place I've always wanted to visit, to be honest. I've been to Georgia a few times, and everyone goes, "Oh, you going to Savannah?" I was like, "No." Unfortunately, not this trip. And everybody says how nice that is. So, yeah, beautiful stuff, mate. Looks like there's a lot of history there. And thanks again for the ridiculous amount of support here. Melbourne, thanks again for the quick and easy transaction last week. Hey, you're welcome, mate. No worries. Was that for... that was on... Was that the X demo stuff? I sometimes sell stuff on eBay too, so I'm not too sure. But like outside of... I guess it would have been the Tone Shop. Thank you. All right, we've got Jacksonville. I've been there. Very cool. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for all your comments and support, mate. Miami, Florida. Beautiful. We've got folks here from everywhere. This is great. All right, we might wrap this up. And I apologize if I haven't answered your question. Sometimes the chat moves and it goes crazy. But, Rebel 30. That might have been what I had. Was that what I had? Could have been. But yeah, sometimes the chat moves. I don't intentionally miss anyone's comments. I'll just give the crazy shout out here to the super chat folks. So thank you again, guys. This is 100% ensured that the next couple of live streams will be ad free. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. You guys are way too generous. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Stay tuned. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff coming up over the next few weeks. So yeah, guitar, pedal. Have I got any amp videos? Not yet. But I've got some discussion stuff. I'm going to do another podcast. We'll do another live stream in about 10 days or so, or whatever it works out to, just when I can. And hopefully, once Rick's better, we'll do one together coming up, and we'll hang out with everybody again. So yeah, thanks again for all the support, guys. Oh, here we go. So all right, last one, and then no more super chats, folks. I appreciate it, but. Yeah, I don't want you to miss out on having your question answered before we wrap up. But McLeod says, what do you think of the most popular blues songs played at the blues jams? So Rock Me Baby, still, no matter where you go, it's definitely, you know, a lot of people play it like that. You know, there's a whole lot of different ways to play it, but most people do that in G. I would say Stormy Monday or The Sky is Crying. Could be a slow blues in any key. That's definitely one of them. What's another one that everybody plays? Tore Down, you know. Yeah, that kind of thing. Little shuffles. Every day I have the blues. I'm guilty of that one. That's one that I always do because it's a good fun sort of shuffle. And I would probably say The Thrill Is Gone. Even though no one can sing like B.B. King, everybody loves The Thrill Is Gone. It's just such a great chord progression. It's got that turnaround, which makes it kind of a bit more interesting than a straight sort of minor blues. But yeah, I would say those would be the most popular ones. Born Under a Bad Sign. Yeah, a lot of people don't do that because no one can follow it. It's a great tune. I love Born Under a Bad Sign. But yeah. Oh yeah, and the other one that a lot of people do is speaking of Gary Moore, one of my friends does this. This is his song. I thought it was his tune. You know I love you. Yeah, that's another one. And that's got a slightly different, I mean, it's a 12 bar, but it's kind of a little bit different with the changes. So it's got good energy there. Man, Gary Moore's freaking awesome. You know, I love his Too Tired he did with Albert Collins, I should say. Check that out. I'll link it down after the chat's finished. It's killer. If you haven't seen the video clip, is just hilarious. It's so good. All right, guys, we'll wrap this up. I'll try timestamping this in the next half an hour. If you've joined late, I'll put all the sections down. And again, thank you everyone for the support. This is insane. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I'll see you very soon. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff coming up, and we're gonna diversify the channel, and it's been fun. I'm loving it again. All right, guys, take Sweet Home Chicago. Yeah, I think that's I think that might be up there as well. That's like the first. Sorry to keep going on here, but I think that's like the first song a lot of people learn is Sweet Home Chicago. Everyone loves the Blues Brothers, right? They don't know whose song that is or whatever. It's like the Blues Brothers tune. So yeah, what a great song. Anyway, if you can, leave a thumbs up if you can, folks. Subscribe, click the bell, all that kind of stuff. And I'll catch you soon. Thanks again. All right, how do I turn this? Oh, yeah. All right. Catch you soon.